Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Big developments in Ukraine. The Ukrainians opened a new front. The Russians also opened a new front. Okay, so they both are at it. The Ukrainians claim that they destroyed a $100 million Russian Tu-22 M3 bomber. I will show you. That's big development. They did it a few days ago, but they didn't claim it. They said, well, it just went down. It crashed, the Russians claimed. And I said, well, I don't like the word crash because crash is like, just fall out of the sky. I want to know if it was hit by something or somebody. Then the Ukrainians attacked Russia with more than 120 drones last night, and they also attacked an airfield in North Ossetia in the Caucasus. I will show you where that is located. Then I have a few maps ready for you. And then if the Ukrainians launched more than 120 drones, then how many drones do you think actually more than 150 drones. How many drones do you think the Russians launched? Well, about 30 some. And the last topic for this video, Polish and English speaking mercenaries were among the invading troops in Kursk. Surprised? No, I'm not surprised whatsoever. But was it NATO troops or mercenaries? We're gonna see what this article says. So let's start with the first one. The first topic is Ukraine says its forces have opened up new front in Russia's Belgorod province. You owe me money. That's what he says right here. So let's see what Belgorod is. I covered this the days before when the Ukrainians claim this is Belgorod right here. They claim that they invaded exactly in this area. Where is it? Right here. This is Kursk, this is Belgorod, this is Sumy, and this is Kharkiv, or Kharkov, how you prefer. So they attacked here. That's what they claimed. Yesterday, there was no more information about invading here. So this is where the invasion occurred first in Kursk, right here. The Russians pushed them back, almost all done. But the Ukrainians claim now we're gonna come right here. And then I'm gonna show you where the Russians started their offensive, new fronts. So let's finish this article first. President Zelensky said Ukrainian forces had opened a new front in Russia's Belgorod province and were now fighting there, as well as in Kursk, as I showed you, defending the incursions as an absolutely just response to Russian aggression. All right. Zelensky made the comments following a briefing from Ukraine Armed Forces Commander-in-Chief, the ethnic Russian Chief Alexander Syrsky, on the situation at the front, including, and I'm quoting, our presence in Kursk and Belgorod regions, saying that 225th Assault Regiment had been engaged in active operations in Belgorod for several days. We knew that, baby doll, we knew that. That is right here. All right, next one. Ukrainska Pravda. This is from today, Wednesday, April 9th. Russia has effectively launched offensive on Sumy and Kharkiv Oblast, says Ukraine's commander-in-chief, the same ethnic Russian Syrsky. So where is Sumy? Where is Kharkiv? So if this is Belgorod, as I said, Sumy is right here, and Kharkov is right here. So the Russians invaded again here. They are already here in, Kupiansk. So they are advancing probably in here, and then they said in Sumy is the city, and the oblast, they advance after they're going to push them back. We're going to come like this and like this. Let's see what this guy is saying. This is the Russian commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian armed forces. Forces, in effect, already begun an offensive on Sumy and Kharkiv Oblast. In response to a question about Volodymyr Zelensky's statement on Russia's preparing an offensive on Sumy and Kharkiv Oblast, Syrsky replied, I can say that the president is absolutely right. and this offensive has effectively already begun. Syrskyi said that this is evidenced in part by the fact that for nearly a week there has been a near twofold increase in Russian offensive operations across all major directions. Got that? So, supposedly the Ukrainians are still fighting in here, and the Russians are pushing down here and in Sumy. Next article. Hopa Tsopa, New Voice of Ukraine, April 9th. Ukrainian drone destroys Russian $100 million Tu-22 M3 bomber. Do you believe that? Right there. Beautiful, they say. Beautiful. Beautiful plane. Not the success or, I don't know, horrible situation for the Russians. Ukrainian forces destroyed a Russian Tu-22 M3 long-range bomber a few days ago. The aircraft is estimated to be worth $100 million, about. So let's see where these guys shot it, right? He added that Ukrainian defense forces conducted several successful strikes on enemy airfields, forcing Russia to relocate its aircraft further inland. While previously stationed 100 to 150 kilometers from Ukraine's border, Russian aviation is now based 200 to 300 kilometers away, in places like Engels, Saratov Oblast, and Shaykovka, Kaluga Oblast. A few days ago, and I'm quoting, we successfully destroyed a Tu-22 M3 long-range bomber. Alright, this says on April 2nd, Russian Defense Ministry claimed that a Tu-22 M3 bomber crashed in Irkutsk Oblast, saying it was used to launch Kh-22 supersonic missiles against Ukraine. The crew ejected, but one pilot died. I avoided to do it because I wasn't sure the reason. Another Tu-22 M3 crashed in the same oblast on August 15, 2024, with Russian officials again citing a technical malfunction. In April 2024, Ukrainian military forces, especially Defense Intelligence and Air Force, also shot down a Tu-22 M3. The Tu-22 M3 is a Russian supersonic long-range bomber, often referred as the aircraft carrier killer, as it is equipped with Kh-22 and anti-ship missiles. It was originally designed for nuclear warfare. So where is it? Kursk. It's Kursk. Let's see where Kursk is, okay? Alright, where is that? Let's go here. Where is it? Kursk. Irkutsk, right there. Okay, let's find on the map. Remember, they claim it was Irkutsk Oblast. So let's see where that is located. Irkutsk Oblast. This is in Siberia. Southeastern Siberia. So it's right there. So from here to there, from Russia with love. Shall we see where that is located? Let's go on this because we like satellite. Right? And this is it. Right there. And this is even Mongolia. Right here. And China down here. Right? According, Ukraine is right here. So from here to there. Alright, was it Kursk? It's Kursk. You're right there. Irkutsk Oblast. Alright, move to next one. Drones attack Russia's Mozdok, home to military air base. Mozdok is in North Ossetia, if I remember correctly. The Russian Defense Ministry has claimed that there has been a large-scale Ukrainian drone attack on Russia on the night of 8 to 9 of April. Air Defense has allegedly downed 158 drones over Russian oblasts and temporarily occupied Crimea. 158 out of how many? 3,000? I always like to know of how many. So, it was claimed that 67 UAVs were down over Krasnodar Krai. Now, Krasnodar Krai, my friends, which one should we pick? Krasnodar Krai. Should we pick this one first? All right, let's pick this. I got another map. So Krasnodar Krai, right? This is Ukraine right here. Krasnodar Krai is in this area in here. This is Krasnodar Krai area. Right, so this is Ukraine. Or, I will show you on this map, it is down, let me get my melon out. Right here, Krasnodar, obviously. Krasnodar Krai area, right here. So that's where the main ones were shot down, according to these guys, right? Where are you, baby doll? 29 over Rostov Oblast. Rostov is north of Krasnodar, right there, north of Don, right? Where are you? There you go. It's right here, Rostov. And then what else we got? Where are you? 15 over North Ossetia. North Ossetia is obviously north of South Ossetia. And I'm going to use another map right here. This is the Black Sea. This is South Ossetia. This is North Ossetia. Next to Chechnya, Dagestan, where Islam Makachev and Khabib live. And here is where the Mr. Kadyrov lives. All right, so this is North Ossetia right here. Where is this located? On this part south here. I'm going to get my melon out. Right here. This is the area we're talking about, that you see the Black Sea, and that is, where will we? Right there. Okay, this is Abkhazia that you see on this little corner here. Abkhazia. All right, let me get my melon back. Do you miss me? Now you gotta kiss me. All right, 11 over Voronezh Oblast. Where is Voronezh? Voronezh is somewhere in this area here. See this? This is Kharkiv, Kharkov, Voronezh area. What else? 10 over Kursk Oblast, 5 over Belgorod. So they did all this. Kursk, Belgorod, Voronezh. All right, where are you? In here. And then it says 3 over temporary occupied Crimea, 2 over Penza Oblast, and each over Saratov and Oriol and Sevastopol Krai. This is, all right, this, I don't have it on the map, I gotta tell you that. We got a Sevastopol in this area, and then we got Saratov in that area. I can show you where, all right, and then it was the Oriol in here, right here, Oriol. All right, let's move on. Let's see what else these guys say. Another 7 drones were purposely shot down over the Sea of Azov and 6 over the Black Sea. That is in the south. This is this area in here where I'm going to show you the other map. Not that one. Well, this is Black Sea, obviously. But where is it, baby doll? Not this one. This one. This is the Black Sea. So this is the Sea of Azov right here. This is the Black Sea. These are the Caucasus right here. This is South Ossetia in here. This is North Ossetia in here. Dagestan is right here. And then you got Chechnya over there. This is the Caspian Sea. This Saratov is right here somewhere, where the Engels 2 base right here, Saratov. Okay, got that covered. Boom, boom. All right, let's move back. An attack by unmanned aerial vehicles was repelled in the Mozdok district. According to Russian Defense Ministry, air defense system destroyed 15 drones, whereas Mozdok, I think Mozdok is exactly in South Ossetia, which is right here, Mozdok. And Mozdok has an airfield, baby doll, which is exactly there. And I'm going to show you where Mozdok is. Mozdok. Remember, this is the, how do you call it? The Caspian Sea. This is the Black Sea, right? This is Grozny in Chechnya, and then Dagestan next to it. This is Georgia. This is Black Sea. Got it geographically. All right, let's go back. Where were we? Right here. Menyailo claimed that there were no casualties or destruction. Meanwhile, he added that a drone threat is in effect in North Ossetia. Okay, so it says that these guys attacked, drones targeted the air base in Mozdok. And I like to look over Mozdok air base again, which, as I said, is in this area. Not you, baby doll. Right here. Let's look over that beautiful airfield, shall we? Right there. Let's see what. Holy moly fuckaroli. These are transport. Transport is not the military one. Military one is next to it. Let me see. Oh, not that, obviously. Is this the military airfield? I got some lonely ass secretaries. How do you call this? Helicopters. But this is the only one. Do you see any other one? I don't see another airfield here. This is the only one. We should see it if there is one. This is the only one. So the only one, there's the airfield. All right, let's go back and we're going to look over this article from Ukrinform. Russia says Mozdok airfield comes under attack. In the city of Mozdok, in Russia's North Ossetia, drones attacked a military airfield in the early hours on Wednesday. We got that covered. Next, Ukrinform. And this is the mighty Russians. Russia's drone attack, 32 UAVs downed. And remember, those guys had 140 150 something. I don't think that's the one. I think this is the one. Where is it? Right here. 158 drones the Ukrainians launched, and these baboons launched what? Let's see. They got 32 down out of 55. But the Russians, so that's 1/3 of how much the other guys launched. And they launched them from what? Kursk, Milerovo, Primorsko-Akhtarsk, and Cape Shauda. Kursk, Milerov, Primorsko-Akhtarsk. Kursk, so they launched them from Kursk, right here. Milerovo, exactly here. This is Milerovo. Primorsko-Akhtarsk is across from the Sea of Azov, as right here. This is Primorsko-Akhtarsk. And then you got Cape Shauda on the Crimean Peninsula. I know this guy is such a baboon with me now. There you go. This is Cape Shauda right here, and the Crimean Peninsula. This is the Kursk Bridge, just for geography. Okay, and from location, as I said, Cape Shauda here, Primorsko-Akhtarsk here, Milorovo right here, and Kursk right here. Let's see what they attacked. The raid was repelled. Takapaka, Makapaka have been shot down in the north and east of the country, and they say in Kharkiv and Dnipropetrovsk. Kharkiv and Dnipropetrovsk are Kharkiv, Kharkov in here, Dnipropetrovsk is here, and they said no, north and south over here. All right, let's go to the next one, which is English-speaking and Polish mercenaries were among the soldiers stationed in Kursk Guevo. Guevo, I will show you where Guevo is, right at the border. So this is Kursk, is right here. The Russians liberated it yesterday, if I remember correctly. I made a video on that, right here, Guevo. So they said they worked right here. They worked, you know what I mean, but they worked. An officer of the northern group of forces of the Russian armed forces said that there were English-speaking and Polish mercenaries in the Guevo-Kursk region before the liberation. This is reported by RIA Novosti. So if you believe these guys, you believe these guys. Okay, what's going on with you? Am I growing or something? English and Polish speech was heard on radio intercept. On April 8th, the Russian armed forces liberated the village of Guevo in the Kursk region. I told you that. So they had around some mercenaries over there. This is a short update on a macro Ukraine front situation. Remember, Zelensky says that the Ukrainians are fighting. Yeah, in Belgorod province, the Russians launched two offensive in Sumy and Kharkiv. Then we have Ukraine drone destroys Russian Tu-22 M3 bomber in Irkutsk oblast in Siberia. Okay, then we have the Ukrainians attacking Mozdok Airfield in North Ossetia in the Caucasus. All right, and then we have, what was the other one? The Russians attack with 55 drones. Boo. And then the Russians claim the Ukrainians attacked with 155 drones. Wasn't it? 154 drones? What was it? You remember? 158. All right. And then the French, German, the Russians claim that they were English-speaking Polish mercenaries and English-speaking and Polish mercenaries. How do you know it was mercenaries? How do you know it was no NATO troops? With the communication. Okay, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.